Today, I want to move now into a segment that it's actually, we talked about this last Thursday. I played a video, I'm going to repeat it because I think this is such an important topic in light of the hurricanes that of course have occurred in Canada and the United States. And this is I want to talk a little bit about the wireless emergency alerts for a couple of reasons. First of all, you need to know how these work. And the second of all is that they're not often turned on your phone. So it's so important that you know how to turn these on and what they are. So I have a video today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you the video. So it's a short one. It's only under a minute, and we'll make sure you turn on these alerts. Now, you have to understand the alerts are sent out depends on what area of the country or countries you're in, and it will be different. And these alerts come from your emergency preparedness area that you live in. So it will be different for everybody. But it is so important that you turn this on the phone or you will not get these. The other thing that's important for you to know that these come through the cellular carrier, the cellular system that you use, not through Wi-Fi or the internet. Because as we talked earlier, if you oftentimes when we have a hurricane or the power's out, you don't get any Wi-Fi and you don't get any internet. So these alerts come through the cellular system and will be broadcast out. So this is an interesting thing. So if you are considering buying or using a tablet as your primary method of communication or whatever, you may want to consider making sure it has LTE, because that's how these alerts come out. Now you can turn these alerts on two ways, and I'm going to show you today through the messaging app how to turn it on. But you can also, at least on my Pixel phone, there's a section in the settings called Safety and Emergency, and you can also turn it on, and it's called the Emergency Locator Service, or Wireless Emergency Alerts, and that's available in the Android settings. But I'm going to show you how to actually turn it on in your messaging app, which you'll see in a second. So let me just play this video, and then we might have a bit of a short talk. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, wireless emergency alerts. To prepare for a hurricane, you need the National Weather Service alerts. This often is turned off on your cell phone. Let me show you how to turn it on. Click your messaging app, and once we get to messages, go up to the three-dot menu, and we're going to click Settings in the messaging app. We're then going to come down, and we're going to come to the Advanced section. Click Advanced, and here's where we're going to look at wireless emergency alerts. Click that, and this is going to bring up My Wireless Emergency Alerts. Let's look at the Settings menu. You can now toggle off extreme threats, severe threats, amber alerts, test alerts, and you can be notified by vibration or alert reminder. These are the emergency settings you need to set on your Android phone. So that, of course, that's for an Android phone. Similar menus, I'm sure, will be for the iPhone, but it's important that you do have those turned on. And again, they will be different for each area of the country or countries that you're in, but it's important that is there, and then you'll be getting the emergency alerts from your weather center. If there's any questions about that, we'll probably leave that for the Q&A. I'll put the link for this video in the chat, so that if you want to play it again, you can certainly do so. Bill, are you about ready to roll? All right, take it away, Bill.
All right, thank you. We're going to just give a few tips on Windows 11. This is the 22H2 version, and I'm going to demo this live, so please bear with me. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. The first thing I was going to just advise you about what's happening with the control panel and the settings app. As we get future updates to Windows 11, you're going to find a lot of your settings that were formerly in the control panel are now moving to the settings app. And for one example, there are several that was listed, was programs and features, device printers, default programs, VPN and advanced sharing settings. But for case in point, let's just take a look at, if I was to click on device and printers in the control panel, and when I click on it, you'll find it will take you to the settings. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to have to eventually get used to using the settings menu as opposed to the control panel. So if you're kind of stuck with using the control panel, I would kind of encourage you to try to get on board with the settings menu. And I've noticed that there's quite a bit of difference between the settings menu that was in Windows 10 to Windows 11. They completely revised it and revamped it. So there's a lot more granularity to it. In other words, you can get to a lot more settings to tweak, but the problem is just finding where they are and how to locate it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Say, for instance, if I wanted to find my programs and feature settings, you won't find that in Windows 11 anymore. In order to do that, to get to that particular feature now, you have to go to settings and go to apps. And then you'll find here install apps. And this is where you can manage your apps, where you can uninstall applications that you no longer want. And also, as you notice in the apps, you'll see that there's a lot more other things besides just the uninstall. There's advanced app settings, default apps, offline. So the old programs and features that we're accustomed to has gone by the wayside. Likewise, if you want to manage your Windows Update, you can do that in Windows Update and the history settings, update history. You can find out all about all the ones that things that you have installed. You can also still do the pause updates for 1 week up to 5 weeks. And then, of course, you have advanced options here that you can go in and tweak how you want to receive the updates. And there's a lot of options to pick from. One of the things, too, I've noticed is that, and I don't think this is particularly pertaining to Windows 11 per se, but they have done some things with the search menu. If you notice lately, when you click on that, you'll see something that comes up like, in this case, it's World Adventure Day. And it gives you a little information as to what's occurring on this particular day. That doesn't mean that you cannot type over that and do your regular search. But don't be alarmed when you select the search from the taskbar that you see something already populated that has to do with the particular day. And in this case, it's World Architecture Day. And on the right side, you'll see a little graphic of that kind of pertains to that particular event. And plus, there's some other links that you can go and look at that as well. And so one thing is about another thing too. Here's a little graphic that was on that particular day that I showed, but something else that you might be interested in is that now as a copy content from the web with using something called Web Select. So if I was to just click on this particular graphic and I wanted to copy this picture, I could right click and you'll see something that's called Web Select. I can click on that and then I can just drag around this particular graphic and then hit copy. And then that copies it to my clipboard, or I can easily then go in and paste it. Let's see here. Easily paste it into, well, I want to use the header. And there's my picture. So that's a new feature that has showed up. One of the other things too is that, of course, it's able to organize our apps. It's like in this case, I'm using two screens, and I'm doing that fairly easily by using the new select area where I can move I can split my screen in several different ways just by clicking on the maximize button. I get these additional applications. So if I want to move, say for instance, what's on my left screen to the right, I would just click that, and then I would be able to make any kind of size that any way I want it to. So it's really quite a handy way of being able to split your screen without having to do all the sliding and shifting that we used to do before. Organizing your apps on your new start menu is, if you think about these, used to be tiles in Windows 10, they're now icons, and you can move them around just as you would tiles in the old format. Also, it scrolls down like so. It's very much like your smartphone. To get to all apps, that's all the applications you have installed on your computer, you just need to click on all apps, and that gives you the laundry list of everything you have installed. You can still right click on the app, and then you're allowed to pin it to start, or you can pin it to your taskbar. And you also have an uninstall feature here as well, so you can uninstall that particular application right from your all apps menu. Keep in mind too that the start menu is divided into sections. For some reason, they have this listed as recommended, and I think this is more pertaining to recent applications that you've used, but they, for some reason, want to say recommended. When you go to the more, you'll find a list of all the items that you have used within the past couple hours, days, and weeks. So that kind of takes care of it for my tips today. So hopefully you will be able to explore more about Windows 11. I think it's a really great system and very worth upgrading to if you can do so.
Thanks, Bill. That's great. Will you be available in the Q&A afterwards for any questions?
I will not be, unfortunately. I got to give another Zoom presentation immediately following. All
right, that's fine then. That was a good presentation. I have some questions, but we'll maybe do the questions next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bill. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about saving photos in Gmail and to Google Photos. So I'm going to play a little video now for you. I guess it prompted me to make this video because I was over helping someone the other day, and they were doing the slow way, the 3-click way to put videos into Google Photos from Gmail, and I thought, don't you know about this new feature? Well, I guess a new feature. And so I thought I'd just show everyone just to make sure that you're doing the 1-click method rather than the 3-click method. So let's have a look and see how this all works out. Let me share my screen. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today I want to show you how to save your pictures from Gmail on your PC directly into Google Photos in a one-click process. Let's have a look how it's done. Now in this video I'm going to show you two ways of going about this. My wife has sent me an email that has two inline pictures. They could also be attached pictures in my Gmail. I want to put them directly into Google Photos. The first way I'm going to show you is the old way you probably do it, and that's where we download the images to our PC, upload them to Google Photos, and then put them in a folder. In the second part of this, I'm going to show you how to do it with one click. Poof, right. It goes right from Gmail right into your folder in Google Photos. So let's have a look at how this works. Let's open the email from my wife. Step 1, State Trials is the name of the email, and there are two pictures of Sam here. And here are the two pictures that I want to upload to Google Photos. We're going to, first of all, download these. You'll see the little download button here. We're going to click this, and we're going to download this picture into our downloads directory on my PC. I'm going to label the first one Sam, and we're going to place this in the downloads directory. This is the step 1 procedure. There we go. We're going to do the same thing with the second picture, and we're going to call it Sam1. Both these are saved now on my local drive. Let's have a look. Here we come up to our downloads directory, and we'll see Sam and Sam1. Both pictures are on my downloads directory on my PC. We now have to get them into Google Photos. So let's come over to Google Photos. We're going to click Google Photos. And in Google Photos, we're going to do step 2. And we're going to upload these from my computer into Google Photos. We're now going to select these. We're going to come back over to my hard drive and select both pictures. And we're going to upload these into Google Photos. Step 3 is we're going to add them to the album called Grandchildren. We're going to complete this, and then I'll open the album up and you'll see both of the pictures there. So here's the album called Grandchildren, and there are the two pictures of Sam as a 3-click process. So let's go back to that email and have a look at the picture of Sam. I'm going to take my cursor now and I'm going to bring it to the bottom of the picture. And I want you to pay attention to the 3 little boxes here. The first box is the download box. This is what I used in the last demonstration. The next one is add to Google Drive. This is not a good idea because if you click this, it will simply add it to the root directory in Google Drive, which will not be in Google Photos. Unless you have a specific reason to add it to a file in Google Drive, I would skip this. On the right hand, you see a new box, and it's called Save to Photos. Why they didn't save it to Google Photos, I don't know, but this is to Google Photos. If you click this button, this will save this picture directly to Google Photos, and you will not have to download it and upload it. So let's see what happens when I click this. Save to Photos. So how do I get the picture directly into the folder called Grandchildren as a one-step click? Well, let's have a look at this. As you see on my timeline, you'll see a picture of the picture of Sam. Now this is just in my regular Google Photos. This is in where I keep all the pictures. How does it get into the album? Let me show you how this works. Let's create a new album, and we're going to call this Create a New Album, and we're going to call this Sam Test. Now, when we want to add pictures, we're going to come down here and select People and Pets. Let me click this, and we're going to come along here, and here's a picture of Sam. So this is, I'm going to click this. So all the pictures of Sam will be added to that album. I'm going to let it notify me when all the photos are added, and then I'm going to confirm this. And it's going to load all the pictures in my directory, which are thousands and thousands of pictures going back to his birth, and they're going to put these into my album called Sam Test. And I can also notify or invite family and friends to add them as well. So let's click here, and we're going to choose my wife to add pictures here as well. So when I choose her, we're going to send her an email, and she's now going to be added to this album. So you'll see, of course, there's myself, you'll see there's my wife, and any pictures that we take that we save to Google Photos, facial recognition will identify that these are of Sam, and they will automatically add it to this album called Sam Test. So we set one up for our grandchildren, and we have all our grandchildren in there. So any pictures we take that go into our photo albums are automatically put into the album called Grandchildren. This is through facial recognition in Google Photos. One step, right from Gmail to Google Photos. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, right from Gmail into your Google Photos album. One click. You remember the like and subscribe? I'd sure appreciate it if you'd give us a subscribe and click that like button. Until we see you again, have a great day and enjoy your Google Photos.